let's go into our first experiences as interns. How did you start? Give us that crazy first world experience of your internship.
So I had probably one of the weirdest internships ever you talk about training. I think, training is very important, how you coach. Mine was about 36 seconds of training. So what happened was I took with a team that's no longer in existence. They're not even there.
Great start.
It was the worst performing team in the world. They had nights where they had less than 26 fans in the ballpark.
Love it.
All right. And so they needed interns. So I tore my shoulder, could no longer play baseball, and I got an email about an internship with this team. And I went in, and their interview process was, so you want it? And I said, what is it? And they said, well, if you could come in and just sell sponsorship, that would be helpful because we're not selling anything. We really need some revenue.
Yikes.
And I said, I don't know, I'll give it a shot. So I show up the first day, and they put this big phone book, which I don't think, do phone books even exist anymore?
No, there's actually a company called Haibu. They used to be the Yellow Pages, and they still make the Yellow Pages. I think they're about 10 pages.
I don't know why you know that. I mean, just Google. But the reality is, so they open. First day I show up, I'm wearing I've dressed way too nice for this team. I'm literally sport coat, dress shirt. I'm ready to go. The GM and then this director of sales kind of laughed at me. They say, you're in the wrong business, my friend. Yeah. I was like, all right, that's a good first impression. Then they say, all right, you need to sell sponsorship. Here's the phone book. They drop this big phone book and they say, just start with the businesses and the A's and call and see if they'll want to sponsor. Jeez. And I said, well, what sponsor what? They're like, well, put a billboard up or put a sign up. And I go, okay, is there anything that we're selling? Is there a price sheet? And they said, yeah, anything you can get over $500 is good. This is it. So then I started calling people, and literally I made so many calls. I remember my first meeting, I showed up, and it was this home security company, and they were based in a house. And I show up, and there's a giant pig on the front lawn. And I'm pulling, I'm like, what the heck is that? And when you think of pig, what color do you think?
Black or pink.
I think pink. This one was black. I guess you would think, all right, black. Yeah, it was huge. And I was like, what is it? And just kind of looking at me. And finally, the woman opens her screen porch door and says, oh, you met Porky. And I was like, Porky, really? And I go, yes. She's like, come on into the dining room table. And I sat down at the dining room table. It was the whole family. It was a family business. And I told them what we were selling. And I made the sale because I said you would do the save of the game and you'd get us. I gave them everything we got for $350. And at that point, I started to sell and I started to enjoy meeting with people. But I had zero training, and my job every day was to go and try to sell sponsorships and meet with people in the community. And at that point, what I realized I loved is just meeting with people and talking about what we're doing.
Right.
And crazily, from that internship, I sold 50% of the team's total revenue in 1 month with sponsorships at $200.
Yeah.
So they weren't making a lot of money.
Outstanding cash flow.
They offered me the job as the general manager being Gastonia. But that was an internship when I realized, you know what? That's not the way it should be done.
Right.
And we started changing from then on.
Yeah, for me, when I was a junior, and I wish I would have really understood what it meant to get internships and to get that experience because, and we can go into this a little bit, but we learned, however much we could learn through college courses, but, you only get that experience from being in the weeds, from being in the trenches, like going out and meeting those people and sharing that vision, sharing that purpose. Like, that's the only way that you can actually learn. That's the only way you can do it. And so when I first had my internship, it was between my junior and senior year, and I went back home and worked for a minor league team back home in Burlington. And,
which they still exist now.
And they do still exist. We had a great season that year, and they're still having great seasons. But for me, that's where I fell in love with it. I fell in love with going to the ballpark every single day and seeing those fans come up and high-fiving you and having fun and leaving the game and being fired up. And it was something that you could come in and create. You could actually call people and say, invite them out to the ballpark and Little League teams and nonprofits and schools and then see them come, see them have a great time, and then see them leave and high-five and say, we're coming back. That was an awesome time. And I was like, what do I have to do to keep doing this? And that's when I reached out to you.
And what was crazy, because I enjoyed meeting with those people, even though the team was terrible. I was like, this is fun, getting out there and selling something that you believe in. And I realized everyone says, find your passion, find your passion. As people are watching this right now, it's graduating season. We got high school people graduating college. It's like, oh, find your passion. I never as a kid said, you know what? I want to be an intern on a baseball team or work on the front office of a baseball team. I wanted to play baseball. But you can't find your passion until you actually start doing things and learning. And I started doing it. I was like, you know what? I love selling this excitement of something. And so I got into it, and that's when I learned this is what I want to do the rest of my life. But it wouldn't have happened because I played baseball my whole life. If I didn't take that terrible internship,
Right.
it wouldn't have happened. And none of this would have started.
Yeah, I think for us, we always joke about people that, I always used to, personally, I would joke with people that, this was the only way I could be involved in baseball was on this side of the fence.
Because you were a below mediocre baseball player.
Clearly, I was not going to be doing anything on the field. I was actually maybe able to do something off the field, and that was the only way that I could stay in baseball. But I'll never forget, the story that sticks out in my mind that first year that I interned. And we were doing everything. For us, it was like this kind of general internship. We were up in the press box, and we were down on the field doing promotions. We were taking out trash. We were doing operations. And one night I was in the press box, and I got to do the music one night. And for some reason, I forgot to not get the edited versions of the songs. And one of our first round picks, Bubba Starling, got up there, and he had a couple extracurricular words that were in his walk-up song. And I forget what the name of the song is, but it was Don't Give Up. And I quickly turned the volume down, and I got a radio call saying, do you guys think we can maybe find the edited version of these songs? And then he hit a home run, so I was pretty fired up about that. But then, later on that evening, we put the press box back together, and we finished up that night, and our broadcast team took all the equipment down to the office. And my buddy and I were doing trash. And for some odd reason, our broadcast team kept all their broadcast equipment in a trash bag.
Yes.
I don't know if we just were poor and we couldn't afford a carry-on bag or something like that.
But you wanted to do your job.
But I wanted to do my job to take out the trash. And so we took out the trash that night and cleaned the whole ballpark up and got everything out to the dumpster. And we come back in the next morning. I get a text from our broadcast crew saying, hey, did you guys move my broadcast equipment? We got to go on the road tonight, and we're packing everything up, and I can't find it. And I was like, no, dude, I didn't take your broadcast equipment. Why would I touch it? And he goes, well, it was on the floor in the office in a bag. I said, well, what kind of bag? He goes, a trash bag. I said, buddy, I threw that out. You're telling you left your freaking equipment in a trash bag on the floor in the office.
But he must have snapped at you.
He freaked. We had to pull tarp that morning. So we all go out there, and it is dead quiet, and he's pissed.
It's his equipment. You threw out his equipment.
I threw out the entire broadcast equipment.
Like, that's his life. That's like a musician. That's like throwing away their guitar.
Literally threw out the entire, thousands of dollars of equipment in a trash bag, and me and my buddy threw it out, and that was my best part of the internship.
So how did the relationship ensue between you and the broadcaster?
We didn't talk too much after that. They literally had to scramble. They went to Radio Shack, got all this. Went to Radio Shack, so
they're doing well.
They were still in existence.
Yeah.
Literally had to go to Radio Shack, get all this equipment, bring it back to the stadium, put it back together. I felt terrible.
All right, so we've had some bad stories about internships, but somehow we overcame those.
Yes.
And now we actually employ those interns.
Yes. I think what I want to get into is why is it important for people to start at this level as an intern, get that experience, and then morph back into, what they really want out of that experience? Why is it important?
I think it's important for everyone to work under great organizations, under great leaders. And even if you're not getting paid a lot, it's to learn from them. A lot of times people look right out of college, can I get paid $50, $60, $70, $80,000, but they're part of an organization where they're not learning. Everyone, high school, college, what can you do to learn the fastest possible way from the best possible leaders?
Yep.
And so I think that's so important. I mean, again, how can you expedite your growth? And a lot of people, they'll look at that big paying job. And I think, and I'm not saying about our organization, I'm saying any organization. Look at who's doing it best in that industry.
Right.
And knock on their door and say, I will do anything.
Right.
What can I do to learn from you? Because wherever you are, if you do a great job, you're going to be successful. And no matter what that position is. I mean, we were just celebrating Reginald on Thursday.
Yeah.
Reginald does our trash at the stadium.
Yeah.
But I would argue he is the best in the world at it. And he loves it. And you know what? If they're hiring the best trashman in the world somewhere at this whole organization, they better start with Reginald.
Right.
I think it is. I think it's so important. I think anybody that thinks, in high school, let's just try to get this big paying job. What can you do to intern? And just knock on doors. If I come to you and say, I want to help, here are things I can do, and just start providing value.
Yes.
People don't provide, it's like, well, I'll do anything for you. Well, just start providing value.
Right.
When you were a seasonal / intern for us, you just started showing up and put it in the work. And I think that's so important. So again, I think anybody who's listening that has younger kids, how can you get them learning from good people in good organizations? I regret that so much that I never had that opportunity until I was 23 years old to take a short internship.
Exactly.
Because I didn't have anyone to learn from directly.
Yep.
I wish I did.
Yeah, I was on a phone call with a student the other day from South Carolina, and he was asking, like, if I could change one thing, what would I go back and do? And I said, I would have started sooner. And I hate being that cliche, but like, we were playing ball, we were trying to do things in the summertime, we were taking trips, or I would just go back and work at Chick-fil-A or something for the summertime. But I didn't really understand that if I could take these steps, I would have gotten so much closer to my goals so much quicker. And whether that's working for other companies outside of your industry, Disney, or taking an internship somewhere else, or going on a cruise, like all these different things that could have led you to this place. And I think some people are just like, well, I just got to wait until I graduate to get a job. Dude, you are so far late, because if you just put yourself on a resume, and it's, well, I went to school here, and you dropped your mic. You got good there. I went to school here, and I, had this GPA, and I had this and this and this. You're just the same as everybody else. You're back?
I hope so.
Jesse Cole lost his mic, and he's back. If you just use a resume,
and
you just say, well, I graduated from here, had my GPA, and I'm just the same as everybody else, who cares? If you were to say, like you said, here's the value that I'm going to provide, here's what I can do, here's what I will do, here's what I'm going to do, that sets you out from everyone else.
And we do have a guest who's patiently sitting here, which we do want to get to, but that's later at the point. I want to jump on one more thing on this.
Go ahead.
Invest in yourself. I asked that question, what would you have done differently? I'm mid-30s now. I'm ancient compared to our average age here at the office. But I would say invest in myself, and that doesn't mean necessarily spending money. What it means is sleeping on a couch and spending as little as possible to invest in what I learn, invest in my growth, and invest in my development. And if I could have done that, I've never had a direct mentor or a direct coach that I could talk to all the time. I would have done that at 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I would invest in myself by not making a lot of money, by investing my adversity, challenges, and struggles, and saving to get to that next level.
100%. We have a couple people chiming in. Madison Miller says she was an assistant teacher in a high school with work-based learning with FFA. Tina, what's up, Tina? First job was working as a counselor for kids at the Fresh Air Home during the summer on Tybee Island. All right, we're going to bring on Barry here in a second. Talk about quickly the first intern class that we had. And how, bringing on these interns that we've had so far has allowed us to grow as a company the way we have.
Intern class 2016 is epic. We'll go down in history. We should probably have a Hall of Fame for them. Because when you look at that intern class of 2016 and going through the order, Barry, who actually turned into something, who we're going to bring on here in a little bit, Kiki, who is now our Director of First Impressions, oversees a staff of 150. Jonathan Wood, who's now our Director of Operations, oversees 4,000 people getting fed and taken care of every single night. Patrick, who's our Director of Group Sales, who does it all, makes it happen.
That's it.
That's it.
Yes, correct.
That's a Hall of Fame class, if you ask me. That is a Hall of Fame class. And no, that's not it.
Well, from that class.
That is not it. How dare you forget him right here, the famous person, Ben Sheffield. You're playing jokes on him. Our photographer intern who showed up to be the most impressive, amazing director of film and production I could ever imagine happening. The best in the industry, by far. And one of the reasons we've got to where we are is because we've been able to show our experience in Fans First. That is a Hall of Fame class. And we got lucky. But what we did is that first year, when we had no idea what we were doing, we let them be a part of the experience. We let them learn. And they understood how special this was.
That's true.
And now, when the average millennial leaves a job every 13 months to start over somewhere else, we have 5 that are now going into their 4th season. It's unbelievable. We are lucky. And I think each year we try to continue to get groups that are even better, and it's tough.
And now we moving forward, we've got Matt that's come on. He was a seasonal person for us for a year. We've got Devin that's come back, seasonal person. We even had Lizzie, who was kind of part-time
to start,
for a few months that became full. I mean, things are going in our favor because we have brought these people in, assimilated them to the culture, and really created this core group of people that we can say, we are going in that direction, and you are coming with us. And if they want to identify other A players that they want to bring on board, 100%. That's great. We can't identify them, really, without bringing them in here, getting them in the trenches and saying, do you fit or do you not? And I think that's where Berry fits in.
I think every business should start with an intern-based culture. Bring people with the end, what they stand for, who they are, and then grow. There's nothing better to watch our people grow into what they become than bringing someone from the outside that's already here.
Yep.
Let's bring someone develop. I mean, it's looking like the Moneyball approach. Going back, Dave, you're looking at it. It's develop players to be what they can become instead of just focus on getting the highest price talent.
Right.
We don't need to go buy $100,000, $200,000 performers.
Right.
Let's build them from the beginning, and I think that's what we're doing.
Yeah. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring on Berry. Yes. He's going to come on.
Yes.
He's got his headset like I do because we both look like idiots.
The headset doesn't fit over my, if you missed this in the headset does not fit over my hat. So that didn't work out well. Hi, Berry.
What's up, man?
Hi, everyone.
Welcome aboard.
Good
All right, here's the deal. I want to go into some questions, some trivia first.
Well, let's say Berry. Let's get to know who he is. No?
Nope.
Okay. I don't run this show.
First question.
Who is Berry?
Which company was used in the 2013 film The Internship starring Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson?
Just for me?
Either of you.
Google.
Okay. Who were the actor and actress?
Robert De Niro, Anne Hathaway. Bam! Come on, that's good. All right, what movie am I talking about?
The Intern.
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
You knew Robert De Niro and Anne Hathaway, though? Mm-hmm. Wow, good for you.
I watched that movie.
That's a great movie. It's a very good movie.
That's a good movie.
It's a good movie. She learns from the mentor, goes back and forth. I like it. I'd like to bring a Robert De Niro into this.
That's the only intern trivia I have.
That's all you have.
It's a good movie.
I thought it was
a very good, feel-good movie. If you guys liked Intern...
Yeah, if you guys watch The Intern, it's about Robert De Niro comes in, this crazy company, he's super successful, and then this girl Jules is, running 100 miles an hour and can't solve anything, but he becomes the mentor as the intern. It's a feel-good movie.
It's a good movie. It's a good movie.
Well, fun fact too, Chip Conley, who actually owned 26 boutique hotels, Brian Chesky, Airbnb, just hired him a few years ago to be a mentor. So he actually he called it a mentor.
Love it.
So he's in his early 50s. He was a mentor to Brian Chesky, the young group, and helped Airbnb reach the next level. Why? We need a mentor. Does any banana fans want to be
our mentors?
Our mentors. Is there any banana fans that really have done it, have learned a lot, have great wisdom? I know there's plenty out there that want to be our mentor. We're open to it.
Then, of course, Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson. Hysterical.
Yes.
As always.
They're funny.
All right, here's the deal. Give us your background. What school did you go to?
It's very important. I
want to softball this up for you.
I went to Armstrong State University.
And Barry, tell us about where that is and how it's doing and all that.
Yeah, so I went to Armstrong State University right here in Savannah, Georgia. We were sadly and tragically consolidated into a school which shan't be named.
Shan't be named.
They didn't have a good year this year, did they, Armstrong?
No, they had an excellent year. They didn't have a single person drop out. Everyone, no late bills,
no losses,
no losses. They broke even.
Yes.
So
we give Barry a hard time. If you're not from the Savannah area, we give Barry a hard time. Went to Armstrong State.
No longer exists.
Super baseball player there. They did consolidate the school, and the school actually doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, they gone.
All right. So when you first thought about finding an internship or whatever, how did you find us? How did you get involved with us? Give people that backstory.
Sure. I actually wasn't even looking for an internship. I didn't know what I was looking for.
Nice.
My whole life, I planned to teach and coach. I thought that was it was honestly the path of least resistance for me. I loved baseball. I wanted to stay in it. Pretty well connected in the Georgia high school baseball world.
Right.
Went and got a degree in English literature, so I was able to teach, and then decided I was going to coach. Figured, why not, reach out to some front office and say, hey, what's the other side of the game like? Mm-hmm. So I reached out to a team.
The former team.
Yeah, the former team that occupied this stadium.
The theme of this show is not many things that used to exist anymore.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fair.
Your team, school, former team.
Yes.
So I reached out to the former team that occupied Grayson, and I got no emails back. All I asked for was 5 minutes to question how they got into front office baseball. I knew they were leaving, so I wasn't looking for a job. This was post-announcement that they were leaving, and nobody got back to me. I understand. I was a little hurt, but I understand maybe they were moved on. Then I was hanging out with my friends one night in February of 2016.
I remember that time.
And a Facebook notification came up that said we had just renamed the team the Savannah Bananas. That the local team was now the Savannah Bananas. And I jokingly told my friends, I'm going to be a banana, watch this. And I pulled out my phone and started emailing almost everybody on the list. Right away,
Except
Emily.
for me.
Yeah, well, I wanted to get all the important people.
I didn't hear from you.
But anyway, Emily almost immediately, like the next morning, invited me out for just a quick chat, and even said, hey, by the way, I don't know if you're interested in this, but we do have internships available. At this point, I was completely open. I had nothing to do. It was either take a full-time job as a coach and a teacher or do this. And I was honestly like, there's no way they're going to be able to get me to do this internship.
Right.
So I come out and I meet with Emily, and 10 minutes later I accepted the internship.
There you go.
Did she offer on the spot?
On the spot. You were
Emily.
Before I met anyone.
Wow, things have changed.
I didn't meet anyone except for Emily. We sat in the grandstands. Jesse was on the field talking on speakerphone, walking around.
That's my way I talk,
That he holds the phone right here and just walks. Gets about 40,000 steps in one conversation. But, yeah, that was it. I mean, it literally took 10 minutes of talking with Emily and seeing her passion for it and hearing how it was different from baseball. And I was like, I mean, I'm going to regret not seeing what it's about at least once. I can always walk away from it and go back to coaching and teaching, and then now I'm here.
I think that's so interesting because, a lot of people reach out to us thinking, oh, I can get involved in baseball with them. Like, I can hang out with the players, and I can do, sabermetrics, and I can, be a coach one day. It's like, that is literally 0%
How much
of actually what we
have
do
you done?
here.
Nothing. I jokingly tell people all the time, I've never been closer and farther away from the game at the same time.
It's so
That's
true.
great.
It's because for us, and this was a shift in mindset. It was like, oh, you want to be in the front office of a baseball team. We are not a baseball team.
Yep.
And then not only are we not a baseball team, we have nothing to do with what happens on the baseball field. We are purely in that entertainment business. So I'm sure that was a shift in mindset from you. You were like,
Yeah, I had
oh, sure,
no
I'll go for a
idea.
baseball
But you
team.
became a promo intern, really?
Yeah, well, I think it was one of the last ones available. And also, I think at that time in my life, I was projecting a lot of energy, trying to bring a lot of value.
Confidence.
Definitely came across as a little much, probably. And Emily thought, great, he'll be a good fit to do promotions with Jesse. And I think over the course of the last few years, I've kind of transitioned more towards helping run the ticketing department.
Well,
and
you've
stuff
become
like
more
that.
calm and subdued.
Yeah, I'm definitely not as I'm not forcing as much energy as I may have used to. I think is probably a fair assessment. But I had no idea what front office baseball meant. I truly didn't. You just described me to a T. I had no idea that I wasn't going to be working with baseball at all.
Right.
All my previous skills the value I thought I was bringing to Emily was like, okay, cool, throw that out the window. We're going to start over from scratch, and we did, and here we are.
So walk us through that first. I mean, I know the first season was crazy. Sold out, 18 some odd games, won the championship, all that. But as a promo intern, working with this guy, trying to manage all the craziness, you turned into a maid. You turned into a banana boy, a b-boy. Like, you got a championship ring. Like,
you wore skirts. You were.
Yeah. No, you can. Yeah. Shh. No, you can find that. It's peppered all over all over Facebook.
Did that give you a sense of like, I don't know if this is for me at any point, or were you like, you know what? If I could get into this, if I could finagle my way, I want to be a part of this.
If I'm being completely honest, it never crossed my mind that I didn't want to be doing this specific task.
Right.
Once you come in and you're part of this culture and you really truly feel like you're a part of this team, you'll do absolutely anything to move the team's goals forward. And so, I had never danced on the field. I had never done anything crazy like that. I was a very purist player. You don't pimp home runs. You don't do anything like that. You don't show up and now I'm very much on the opposite camp that wants to see baseball.
If you follow Berry on Twitter, you just see him chirping people all the time.
I will go every single time something controversial happens on Twitter as far as pimping home runs or throwing at batters. I am very much on the side of I have no problem with players pimping home runs. I just want to see pitchers double pistols when they strike a guy out.
Right.
I want to see everybody doing it,
Yes.
rather than throwing a projectile 90 miles an hour at someone's head.
So Tina says Emily's the bomb. Emily is watching. She chimes in. Berry impressed the heck out of me. Still does. He was quoting Simon Sinek in our first conversation. Never expected someone that great coming from Armstrong. Wow.
Whoa. All right. Emily, thanks. That was awesome. But then the Armstrong? Was that her that said the Armstrong?
She said that.
You could be in the Armstrong Hall of Fame.
I'm not.
But I don't know if there is one or if there ever
There technically is, but now they just add to it as like the team we shan't speak of's name.
What do you remember from him as an intern? You mentioned the promo stuff. You mentioned the tenacity. Like, what do you remember from him that kind of led him into being like a candidate to come on full time?
I mess with Barry a lot, and we joke around a lot.
Yes,
but,
as you guys can tell.
as we do. But to get serious, there hasn't been very many people that I've tried to take one under my wings and try to teach. And what I realized with Barry is that I wanted to teach you everything all the time, because I saw what Emily noticed in 10 minutes. I was like, this guy's got the energy, the confidence, he believes in it, and you're slightly smart too. You get it. And a lot of people don't necessarily get it. They're just here for this reason.
A little bit of common sense.
So I remember I was tough on him. I treated him like, you're a full-time person. Right. And I think that's one of the things that we take pride in here is when you're an intern with here, you're not an intern. We'll treat you as a full-time. And I really started testing that with Barry. I mean, I told him numerous times, you're better than that, and I expect more. And I would say, hey, this is why we need to do this. And I think that brought him into the leadership right out of college. But I knew I could count on him.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's so important when you look for a leader. It's like our show, as I will say to everyone, is possibly the most important thing that we do at our stadium.
Right.
And to think that having a microphone ready, having props ready, having someone in a maid costume is that important, it is, because everything we do is based on the show. And I trusted him 100% with the show, and Will Swisher, who's back, like, they were it. They were it.
Right.
And if it went wrong, that hurt our whole product. So I would, if I could have everyone intern start, or at least have a piece of being involved in the show, I would, because I think they realize the importance and the value and why we care so much about it. He saw that, then transitioned into tickets, and he believed in what he was selling.
Yeah.
You're not just selling tickets, you're selling an experience, you're
Yes.
selling something, and I think that's what I was able to see, and glad he joined on.
Because you had seen it then.
Yep.
So then
Yeah.
you transition into this ticketing role, and you've seen 3 months of this place is sold out. I've been a part of the show. I've been a part of the entertainment. I've seen what this place has now become. And then we give you this opportunity to go sell tickets. And it's like people are freaking out. They love the bananas. You said it yourself. You've never made a single cold call to someone because it's always a hot person ready to talk bananas, ready to, fired up, ready to buy tickets. And so if you could give some advice to someone thinking about getting an internship somewhere, what do they need to look for? Like, what's the advice that you would give to somebody that was in your shoes 3 years ago?
If you know exactly what you want to do, that's awesome. Who I'm specifically going to talk to right here is those who don't. And I think that's the vast majority.
Yeah.
You may know what industry or what, but you don't know exactly what you want to do. My advice would be go into it with an open mind, be willing to step outside of your comfort zone, and just take a team approach. Decide that you're going to further the team's goals no matter what it takes. Whether or not you're selling, whether or not you're dusting off second base and getting fake tossed out of a game by an umpire, whether or not you're initiating trade deals, it doesn't matter. If you don't buy in, you're not going to fit in.
Yeah.
So you're going to coin that. I know you are. Jesse just took a mental note just like that. Yep. All right, that's the next podcast.
Well, no, what you say, it's we over me.
It really is, 100%. And don't be so locked into what you think you're going to enjoy, because I not once in my entire life, never before the day it was offered to me, wanted to sell tickets. But like you mentioned, I don't feel like I'm selling anything.
Right.
I'm just kind of the middleman. You just got to go through me to come. It's like it's a great gig.
Right.
I like you mentioned, I haven't made a cold call in a year and a half now because we have waiting lists. So I'm calling people who asked to come out to the game, and we couldn't take care of them then because we were full.
Yeah.
So my advice is go in with an open mind and just take a we over me approach. It's not about when you're an intern, it's not about what you're getting out of it. That is a byproduct. You're going to get more out of it than you even realize.
Oh, yeah.
What can you give? Like, what can you do to push forward? Because a lot of times as interns, you just feel like a lot of interns, I feel like, think that they're just going to get coffee or they're just sweeping the floors.
Yes.
Take pride in whatever it is that you're getting to do, and they will give you more every single time.
You have gotten credit now for that quote. Rudy, our guy from last year, says, quote, if you don't buy in, you aren't going to fit in. Barry, 2K19.
You can never steal it from me now. It's
yours.
documented.
Nailed it.
You own it.
I mean, you can buy it.
Yeah, I guess you can buy it. But one thing too, that people listening don't know that. So after the second year, Barry actually helped champion getting the whole group to come together and buy me a new yellow tux.
Yes.
Which was, again, he comes as an intern, and I think that's something that's really amazing when you have a group that starts as interns and then they go above and beyond to take care of the leadership. I think it's our job as leaders that we need to take care of our people. That's what we do. That's who we serve. But when you start seeing it come up the back way, I don't think many companies see that. True. And we've shared about the surprise party that all the interns and the team planned for us a couple years ago. It's amazing. And we feel we're lucky to have this group. And last year, as Kiki would say, her interns were really, really special. And we've got more back this year, which is awesome. But it's going to keep getting better. Yeah. And what I hope is that all the fans that come over and say hello to these interns that are working their butt off to try to be a part of the experience and give back them. Say hello, give them props, because us as leaders, and now you, Barry, being our director of tickets, we get a lot of the feedback. Right. We get a lot of the praise. It starts with the interns. Whether I was going into a house with a pig in front of it, whether you were throwing out equipment by mistake, we all started here. And if people can make those interns feel amazing and feel pride in what they're doing, that'll just jumpstart their success. Yeah. So I challenge the fans to just recognize those people, even the frontline people. Everyone starts somewhere. Yeah. And it's amazing where you go if you keep pushing on it.
Yeah, 100%.
To quote the philosopher Matthew McConaughey, it is a scientific fact that gratitude reciprocates. Yeah. I think that quote is very impactful when it comes to the way leadership treats staff, and the way staff treats fans, and then the way the fans reciprocate back to us. Yeah. Love Matthew McConaughey, by the way.
You're a big fan.
Shameless plug there. And so, fans, y'all are going to see these interns on camera, on the field, at the games, music video. They're going to be a part of everything that we have. We're going to plug them in immediately. So, bring them into your family. Wrap your arm around them, give them a hug, high five them, tell them they're doing a great job, because it will mean the world to them. That encouragement that I'm sure you got, from fans as you guys were wearing your maid costumes, running through the concourse, getting dollar bills stuffed in your shirt, and high five. Okay, that didn't actually happen. High five people. I
didn't report that.
That really brought you in. That really brought you in to being I'm a part of this now. Yep. And so that's what we want people to feel.
And what's really cool, you think about it, during the summers, people that don't know our experience, we're here early in the morning until 1 a.m. And we get together. I mean, this becomes a family. And what's really amazing to watch the intern group together, them first, they say, I love you to each other. I mean, it becomes like a loving group, and we get so close. And that's okay. Yeah. People in business are so scared to get close. That's what it's all about. Yeah. We'll be out after games celebrating, playing kickball, having fun. And I think for all the interns, I can't wait till tomorrow when they start, because they're about to become a part of something that hopefully they'll never forget. I always tell the players, I want this to be the best summer of your life. I want that for the interns, the game day staff, and the fans. And when you look back, it's why every single year at the last talk, everyone gets emotional.
I was hoping you were going to go there, because that's where I wanted to go.
Because I'm actually feeling emotional right now thinking about that last talk, as we all look around each other and say, wow, we're going to miss each other. Yep. And it's that moment that you realize that we're a part of something that's not just selling tickets. It's about building something special together. It's about relationships. It's about connections. That's right. And we have that. And now we have alumni groups. And so the interns, I hope they all watch this. They're starting tomorrow. Just get ready. It's going to be special, and hopefully it will change your life and at least help your progression to where you go next.
Yep, 100%. And as our newest friend, Art Williams, said a couple weeks ago, you can't get close to your employees. Bull.
Yeah, bull. Yeah, he went on to say more.
He said a few more things after that, but that was the premise, is that you can't get close to people because you got to let them go, you got to fire them, or they move on or whatever. No. There are tears every season at the end, that last night, as people we're having food together. We've worked a zillion hours to pull this thing off. Hundreds of thousands of people have come and been a part of it. We've been on TV, we've been in the news, we've been all over the place, and it comes down to that one final night, and people realize, that was it. That was it. And we got to go back to, our separate ways. But they stay in touch. They
come
keep
back
in touch with each other. They come back to games. Yeah. I mean, it is a really, really cool thing.
Yeah. And sometimes they get hired.
Before we go, one thing you would change about baseball right now?
I would take about 3/4 of the unwritten rules and make them not just not a thing at all. I think that throwing projectiles at someone's head is a terrible, terrible business model for your talent. I can't imagine that makes sense at all. So I think that should stop. I think more people should have fun, and the games have to speed up. So pitch clock's a step in the right direction. Not stepping out of the box would be better. Limiting mound visits. I could keep going for a long time.
You heard it here first. But,
Yeah.
And I think that's what we get to do here. We get to rip the red tape out. We get to rip the unwritten rules off. We got some crazy things that are being implemented right now. We got our players showing up in just a couple of weeks. Again, folks, we are 2 weeks away from opening day. We got Fan Fest coming up on Memorial Day. We got opening night, May 30th, sold out. May 31st, that Friday night as well. I mean, it is going to be a ridiculous summer. These interns are coming into something ridiculous, and it's all about the fans.
Yeah, and no one will ever forget it.
Cool. All right, guys, that's Bananas Unpeeled. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We're out.